Hello horse friends, and welcome to the Imperfect Equestrian. Today we're going to talk about how to get confident whilst riding. Believe it or not, I used to have crippling anxiety about riding horses, and I would spend months and months and months without riding my horse. I would do plenty of groundwork and spend time with them and fuss them, but I just wasn't confident enough to get on and ride. I found several steps that I felt would help me, and I took them, and I have reached a place today where I'm happy to go out hacking, ride with friends, and do fun activities in my own home. So I want to share these methods with you, just in case they might help you. Let's talk about some techniques.
So why do we get nervous for riding? Well, there are many reasons. It could be that you've had an accident, or it could be that you're just a nervous person, or it could be something as simple as you're just getting older and you feel more frail and fragile and you're worried about hurting yourself. Whatever the reason, we need to think about what it is and tackle it straight on. The best way to do this is to think about it step by step in your mind. So start even from waking up and considering going riding. Just that waking up and thinking about it can often bring anxiety. So you have to make a promise to yourself that you're not going to ride that day. You're just going to think about it in the morning, and you think about that step. Then you need to identify every step after that moment and move forward from there. So it could be that fetching your tack into the car is a problem. So you need to take that step one at a time. So what I would do is just go fetch the tack and put it in the car without even heading to the stable. It sounds a really silly thing to do, but it's not really. What we're looking for here is we're looking for you to feel nothing about those acts. I don't want you to be excited. I don't want you to be nervous. I don't want you to feel angry. I don't want you to have any emotion at all. Doing simple things like picking up your tack, taking it to the stable, and even putting it on your horse shouldn't feel any different to waking up in the morning and putting on your clothes. Just shouldn't feel any different to that at all. Like just something that you do. So nervousness is a feeling, and we're not trying to compensate with that by feeling excited. We're just looking to make it a familiarity and to feel nothing at all about it. Repeating tasks and promising ourselves that we're not going to move past that task until we feel better about it is a good way of making ourselves feel better.
For me, one important part on my journey to confidence was recognizing that I had anxiety just about bringing the saddle to the stable. So how I decided to get around this was to recognize it in the first place, which was a huge step. And then I would bring the saddle into the car and bring it to the stable without any intention of riding at all. And when it was at the stable, I would take the saddle and I would put it on a fence or a gate or a stand just like this. And once it was there, all I would do is sit on it, and I would use it as a chair. I mean, obviously, if you've got it on something taller, you can drop the stirrups and have your feet in it and have the proper saddle feeling. But all I wanted to do was sit in it without associating it with riding. Now, whilst I was there, I would take the time to watch the horses, relaxing things like that. They might be eating, walking around, just spending time relaxing in the saddle. And once I'd finished, I'd get off and I would take it home again with me without ever having put it on the horse. I'd spend time with the horses, obviously, but I wouldn't have put the saddle on them. Now, it only took me about 2 days of this before I started feeling a neutral feeling about it. Remember, we don't want to be happy necessarily. It's not an exciting thing to just sit in a saddle nowhere, unless it's a new saddle. But, we just want to have a very neutral feeling about sitting in the saddle. So it only took me about 2 days to achieve, and then I was ready to move on to another step. The next step for me, after just sitting in the saddle at the stable, was just to tack up one of the horses. So I would literally take the saddle, pop it on him, good boy, and do up the girth. Just as simple as that. There would be no more steps other than just to pop the saddle on and do up the girth. That would be it. I'm not getting on today. That's how I would think about it. It was literally just facing the anxiety of me, how I would feel about the next step of putting the saddle on the horse. So within one session, we can take the saddle off and put the saddle on several times. And again, we're really just looking at repeating the process until we feel nothing about the process inside. It may take a few days to get a neutral feeling about tacking up your horse. Really pay attention to how you feel inside about this situation and don't progress any further if it's still giving you any anxiety or nerves. Some things we can also use to help us feel safe are good fitting safety equipment. So I've got my hard riding hat on that's fitted to my head in the current safety standards. And I also use an air jacket. And this will clip onto the horse. And should I fall off, it will pull off and puff up and help me when I fall. You can also get the standard body protectors, and whatever helps you to feel safe when you're riding, wear that. It's important to feel a bit more safety from your equipment. Once we feel confident tacking up, we can mount up, but we don't want to go anywhere. You may feel safer if you have a friend hold your horse, or you may feel safer if they're tied up, or you may trust them enough just to stand there. But the next step is just to mount up and sit on the horse. Make sure you're confident by the side of them first. If you're not, don't go any further than this step at all. When you feel ready, you can get on. Once you're on board, just breathe and spend some time stroking your horse. If you feel you need to get off immediately, that is absolutely fine. No problem with that at all. If you feel comfortable here and like you're not worried at this point, you can certainly sit here a bit longer. As soon as you feel uncomfortable or you feel like you've been here long enough, then dismount. Be careful of the mounting block on the way down. Once you've dismounted, it's time to get back up again. And really, you just want to repeat this process several times. Again, we're just working on how you feel about the situation. And you want to feel safe, calm, and a neutral feeling in getting on and sitting on your horse. And make sure that you don't push yourself too far that day, that you've gone home in between, and this is a session for another day. So we'll get back on. Check you feel okay at the side and mount up. Again, you may want to repeat this process over several days, just till you feel absolutely happy with this situation. And don't stay on too long before you dismount. It's important that you don't push yourself too far past any thresholds that you have. Once you feel safe and happy on your horse, just sitting there, then pick a small enclosed area. It can be a paddock you've made in the field or a yard, and just have a little walk around an area you feel safe in. We're not looking at anything too adventurous, just to be moving around and seeing how we feel about the movement. Only move around as much as you feel safe to. And as soon as you feel unsafe, or you feel like you've achieved a neutral feeling about not feeling too happy or sad about being on the horse, then you can dismount and get off. Good boy. Of course, you can get back on and repeat this several times. And again, for today, this might need to be the only session. And again, repeat as many days as you need to until you feel comfortable with this simple task. So of course, one thing that will definitely help with your confidence with riding is to be confident around horses on the ground. Now, one way to do this is make sure that you've got the minimal skills, which is to make sure that you can at least lead with a loose rein, that he will turn towards you and away from you with not too much effort, and that if you feel crowded or threatened, you are able to get your horse out of your space in some way. Now, the very best way to do these techniques is to go find a natural horsemanship technique that suits you and learn some very good ground skills. I really couldn't recommend it enough. We'll perhaps cover this area of confidence in more detail another day, but today we're talking about the riding. When you move to a larger area, there are a few methods that you can use to feel more confident in a large area. If your horse seems to want to stay by the stable, then the first one I would recommend is to just ask the horse to move forward, but not direct him. And what you will probably find is that they will just go backwards and forwards just by the stable gate or the field gate or wherever. And you're not asking them to come away from their friends, which would make them anxious. And if they feel safe and happy to walk in that area, then you should feel safe too. So I would just ask him to walk and see where he goes. In this case, he is going back up to the stable, but I don't want him to go all the way back up there. So I'm going to redirect him. But if he was by a gateway, he would probably just walk backwards and forwards, and I could feel safe just holding on to him. Another exercise we can use to feel confident when riding in an open area is to ride to objects. Now I'm going to show you how to do this on the ground first. So what we can do on the ground helping towards our riding confidence is to set up several objects around and have our horse walk up to the object, touch them or be near them confidently, and we can praise them for being there. And what we're aiming to teach them is that when they see the object, they can go up and recognize it as a place to stop, be still, maybe have a treat or a scratch or something, whatever your horse prefers the most. Comanche's quite treat orientated. Some horses do prefer a good scratch. So you'll see we've got several objects around. We're going to try some, and on the ground, I'm just going to lead him over, let him explore the object and reward him for being there. So Comanche, go on. Good boy. Good boy. He's exploring it with his feet, but that's okay. He stopped at the object, so I'll give him a treat. Let's pick another object. Come on. Oh, he's destroyed the object. Let's pick another object. Come on. Good boy. So I focus on the object. I want him to focus on it as well. He's seen the object. And he puts his nose straight on it and asks for his treat. So you can see how this is going to help with the riding. We'll explain that more shortly. Let's try a few more objects. Go on. Next object. Walk him up to the object. He's seen it. Nose straight on it. And he's looking for a treat. Good boy. He's very confident with his feet as well. Come on, next one. Good boy. There we are. Good boy. You can see, even though he travels at some speed to get to the object, he knows to stop when he gets there. Good boy. And now he's got this good, we can move on to doing it ridden. Once you're happy and confident that they know what to do from the ground, then it's time to get on and ride to the object. Remember, once you get there, you want to let them rest. You can give them a treat or a scratch. And if they're happy to stay there and they know their job is to stay there, then that will make you feel safe. And the way this really helps is that it gives you a feeling of them knowing where they're going, and you also know that they will stop when they get there. So you're taking short little stints across the field. So when we feel ready, we head to an object. Focus on the object where you want to go. If you go somewhere, point his nose towards it. Good boy. And then when we get there, he stops. I give him a little treat. Good boy. And then we're going to go to the next object. Focus again on where we're going. Good boy. And he stops. I'll give him a treat again. Only move on when you feel safe to do so. Focus on the object. Good boy. Well done. So this exercise makes me feel safe because I know that the horse knows he's heading somewhere, and I also know when he gets there, he knows he's going to stop. Oop, he dropped that one. I suggest you just do this at the walk to start with. And after a few sessions, when you feel a bit more confident, stick to the same patterns, but perhaps try a little bit quicker. We'll just do one more at walk. Good boy. And remember not to move on until you feel safe to do so. And don't forget, at any time, if you don't feel safe, you can just get off. Let's try and trot to the next object. Focus, keep his nose pointed at it, and relax as you come near and allow him to stop. I'll give him another little treat. Let's go this side. Here we are, good boy. See if he'll trot to the next object. And relax. When you start feeling even braver, you can go past one object and to a different one. Good boy. This way, you can slowly build up your confidence in how far you can travel, and you can move the obstacles to further and further away. He's playing with the barrel. Once you feel more confident going short areas, another exercise you can do to help you feel safe is to follow the boundary. So if you've got an arena, you can go around the fence, or here we have a fence line on the field. And if you watch, I follow, and I don't feel unsafe because I'm not in the middle of a large area. So this is now giving me a tool that I can start to explore a bigger area, like a large arena or a small field, and I can use the fence line to help me feel safe. If my horse was to speed up, I could just bend him in towards the fence line a little bit. Once you do feel safe following a border, then you can start to do crosses and maybe changes of direction. So I would come across in the open area, back to the safe fence line, and follow the fence this way instead. It's a very simple task, which seems an everyday task for an arena, but it's not easy if you're very nervous. So it's important to build up step by step. You can see though how once you're happy to follow a barrier, like a fence line, and you're happy to cross from one side to the other, then you'll very easily be able to move on to normal schooling manoeuvres. Other things that we can suggest, but I can't show you today, is that if you'd like to proceed to hacking, you can then perhaps walk your horse out on the ground. Once you're confident walking your horse out, and if you're not confident, then perhaps get a friend to go with you, either just with you or take their horse out in front of you so your horse has something to follow. And then once you're confident with that, then you can perhaps get on and ride and go a short distance with a friend. So again, a friend would either walk by the side of you or have a horse in front, or maybe you're lucky enough to have both. So you could have a friend by the side of you and a horse to follow in front. But just build up going outside into the open world in small stages as to where you feel comfortable. And that may just be going to the end of your driveway or to the gate on the first day. Don't be afraid to just take a few steps out the door, turn around and come home again. You really need to pay attention to where you feel comfortable and where you don't feel comfortable. And don't go too far past where your threshold is.
If after taking all these steps you're still feeling anxiety, please do not be afraid to ask a professional for help. Thank you for watching today. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time.